This is a KLX300. It's a bike for noobs, for children, for people to get started who don't know what they're doing yet. I've been riding for 10 years. Why is this thing so fun? You might remember I had a KLR650. However, I am small person. KLR650 is large, heavy bike. And what I found was I didn't really enjoy it off-road as much as I thought I would. I wanted something that I could use on single tracks, tight trails, stuff where if you drop your bike, you're gonna drop your bike. And I found that if I was not fresh, I was not picking up the KLR650. And lightness is key, really. And this is a lot lighter. This thing is 300 pounds, 25 rip-roaring horsepower, and way more fun than it really should be on paper. I straight traded the KLR650 for this thing. These run about, I don't know, $5,000 to $6,000 brand new, but you can find them in the $2,000 to $3,000 range used. And yeah, this is the Supermoto variety, and must I say, Supermotos are kind of the perfect motorcycle. Every time I rode a Supermoto, even when I have my Aprilia leader bike and all kinds of other stuff, I always wondered why I never had one. So this will have come with street tires. Obviously, I have swapped those out for some Shinko Golden Boys. I would not go this size in the front. That was a mistake. More on that later. But as you can probably tell by how muddy it is, I have been absolutely ripping on this thing. F in the chat. That was the most dainty crash ever. It got Kenneth, he fell down. Aww. I stopped to observe.
Just saying.
Hi. It's the most serene looking and sounding thing ever.
I just gave myself arm pumps from trying to control it too much. Try it?
Sure. Shorty break. Oh.
overheated. I want to take a break for a second.
I put my foot down, there was no ground there.
I watched.
Hello, neutral. Yeah, it's dropped a few times. No complaints. This thing is great. This is a bike that you can buy, you can learn on, and you can probably ride for your whole life without ever really fully exploring it. I kind of lean towards the Kawasaki over the Honda 300s because these have slightly stiffer suspension and revier engines with a little bit more of a top end peaky power band than a low torquey one, which I thought was kind of what I wanted. I've heard that that's all stuff that's a little bit better for a more experienced rider, and I wanted to grow into the bike and continue to grow with it instead of something that is really beginner oriented. Though it seems like everyone with the CRF 300s kind of throw the whole stock suspension in the trash and put Öhlins on it, so maybe it's fine. Also, I liked the teal tank. The teal tank is nice. But beyond that, we have a 6-speed manual transmission, a big improvement over the 5-speed in the KLR 650. We have halogen headlight, turn signals. I mean, it's pretty simple. It's a water-cooled 300cc single-cylinder thumper. However, me being myself, I have to tinker with things. So behind the camera is a whole bunch of parts that we're gonna go install on here. Although somehow, oh no, I do have, let's see, I have a new turn signal. I have some fork gaiters, a new sprocket, a tail tidy. What else? Probably some more stuff I'm forgetting. Ah, yes, handguards to keep this from happening, and some vinyl wrap because I do not like this gray plastic. Obviously, I drop this a lot, as you can tell, because I really use it for what it's supposed to be used for. And this glossy black plastic, it just shows like you can see every branch that has brushed across the front of this bike. So we're gonna mix it up a little, and we're gonna make this bike look fresher, cleaner, and a lot more visible on the road. So I guess let's get to it. So another downside of this bike over the KLR is that the only storage you get is this, which means that all of the packages have to go. Grom. What is happening? Who is this? I didn't order a Grom. Okay. Random stunted out Grom. Yes! My new turn signal.
Replacement.
Yes. Oh,
that's the right one in case you weren't sure.
It's a cute little connector. Okay, in it goes. And also this is where the camera goes, so I guess I'll just... All right, there we go. And that's how you turn a KLX300 into a broken WR250. It's just that simple. It's just that simple, you guys. It's just that easy. Kenneth, what did you do to it?
I drove it a while.
Well, you're not supposed to do that. It's a Yamaha. Where is a good shot of milkshake?
Right in there, but I mean, the coolant, that just came from that.
I mean, let's look below. These are good colors that you want to come out of your motorcycle.
That's what actually came out. That's just from the shit leak.
What'd it taste like?
Did
you really?
That actually,
No.
Isn't a terrible flavor. I will not do that.
We can't say that on YouTube. Here is pile of parts. As you saw before, we have replacement turn signal. We have some handguards and their associated hardware. We have one of the two colors that is going on the bike. And then we have these Tusk fork guards. Still coming is the front sprocket and the tail tidy. The tail tidy, everything about this is horrible. I hate the tail light. I hate this. It's all bad. So this is all going away for a tail tidy that tucks a tail light back up under here. It makes the whole bike visually a lot smaller. I'm really looking forward to that. The front sprocket's on the other side of the bike. But the front sprocket is because in first gear idling, this thing goes way too fast. My KLR did the same thing, so I got a smaller front sprocket for it. But on this actually has a 6th gear, so you can put a smaller front sprocket on it and still go on the highway. Because Kawasaki, in their infinite wisdom, gave the Versys X the universe's shortest first gear, and then gave their actual trail bike off-roader behind the broken Yamaha a much larger first gear. So in first gear idling, like, that is twice as fast. It's not even funny.
2 miles an hour, I believe.
Yeah, he was in 3rd gear in that to be idling at the same speed as the KLX. It's so bizarre. So we're gonna have to take all the plastics off to wrap them. So we're gonna take all the plastics off. We're going to do a secondary throttle plate delete. Now the secondary throttle plate lives right there. You can see there's the main throttle and there's this cam. On the other side there is a little electric actuator, and that just moves a throttle plate in front of the actual throttle plate. Now, why would you want to get rid of that? Why is it there in the first place? A lot of people have theories on why that's there in the first place. Frankly, I don't care. There's a lot of debate about removing it, if it's good or not. And this is my answer to all of those arguments. So this is a KLX300 SM. There is also the KLX300 R, I think, the off-road model, the trail bike that's actually like for competition in the 300cc class. It's basically the exact same thing with slightly different suspension, obviously the 1921 wheel set, and no secondary throttle plate. So if the motorsport version of this bike does not have a secondary throttle plate, I do not need a secondary throttle plate. Also, supposedly, it only opens as far as 65% until you get above 8,000 RPM, which means this thing has very little low-end torque and very little throttle response in the low end is the big problem. Makes it very, very difficult to pick the front wheel up. So deleting the secondary throttle plate and dropping a tooth off the front sprocket are both basically just to make it wheelie more. And why would you want to do that? Well, 2 reasons. One, wheelies are fun. And because small children keep laughing and smiling and waving at me, and I can't do a wheelie for them, and it makes me feel like a terrible person, like war crimes bad. And also because when you're off-road, the ability to lighten up your front end either all the way or most of the way is incredibly useful. If you're going through some mud, you do a little wheelie through it so that the front end doesn't wash out. If you're, going over a bump, you do a little wheelie so that the bike sits down level. It's incredibly hard to do that on this bike as is. So we're gonna fix that. And then handguards, because all the stuff that is scratched up the front of my bike has also scratched up my fingies, well, my gloves, but it's still not comfortable. And yeah, we'll get somewhere. I guess it's time to blow the bike apart. Today's drink of choice is a Cutwater Espresso Martini, 13%, and I haven't eaten anything today, so this is gonna be fun.
Here, the torque settings.
Oh no. The torque can't overcome the like 8 feet of socket extension. It is unable.
Is there another, or is it just drill at that point? Oh, there is another setting. Let's try that one.
Oh boy.
Oh shit, it did it.
Woo! Oh god. Jesus Christ, how horrifying.
Strip your shit out 5,000.
Hang on, I got it. Hey! This is great. I've always wanted to disassemble a bike from 8 feet away from it. I mean, they already kind of called it a naked bike before, but now it's like a really naked bike. And you can see all of its icky bits. Isn't there a fan in here somewhere? Oh, there it is. Oh my God, it's so cute. Look at that, it just got the air filter out. I was thinking I could go in through here with a screwdriver to get to the secondary throttle plate, but this screen is kind of looking like a bit of a pain to get out, so not quite sure what I'm gonna do. I need to take this out of the way so I can get this guy out. Looks like that's these aren't Phillips, they're Japanese industrial standards, so you'll need something like this, a Vessel JIS screwdriver. There we go, JIS screwdriver. If you use a Phillips on these, they strip out extremely easy, which is a really big deal on the throttle plate itself because it is basically cross-threaded by design, and it will not appreciate your shenanigans if you try to use the wrong screwdriver on it. So that's where a lot of people run into issues. And beyond that, we need to undo both of the triple clamps and slide the forks out, which probably also means we're gonna have to take the wheel off. It's still hard to get to. Why? It plugs into the back of the dash.
We should do this a few more times.
Come on, you can do it.
Dude, that's going in, okay, it's going in my left pocket.
There's a magnet tray.
There's a magnet
right there. How many of those have you had tonight?
Yes.
Is that why we're door dashing?
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, otherwise I'd be cooking, but that's just too much.
Let them cook. This headlight sucks. Holy crap, Kawasaki. So this is a 23, and 24 they put an LED headlight in it that's ugly, but actually works. I want to make my less ugly light work better, so I'm going to try putting a brighter headlight bulb in there. In the meantime, it plugs in the back of the dash.
Yes.
How's the dash come off? Oh, right, yeah. I was just looking at how the dash... Now, am I drunk? Good Lord. Remove bike from bike. Pile of motorcycle. The tail was kind of annoying to get out. There was like fasteners on the inside and fasteners on the top. Had to take the little cargo thing out. But we got the tail out and unplugged and everything. These connectors, they're pretty stiff. They're kind of annoying, but it's whatever. The bike is apart. I went and, let's see. This is not going to be fun to put back in. I'm not looking forward to that. But I undid both of the screws. You get to one from one side, one to the other. Got those out, and now we can see in there. If I had a light. There is the secondary throttle plate. So there is one JIS screw that we're gonna have to get to. So I think what we're gonna do for that is I'm just gonna go ahead and take the bit out of this, put it in there, and I'm gonna turn it with vice grips. I think that's gonna be the plan. Meanwhile, at the front of the motorcycleta, we have deleted the front wheel. Don't need that anymore. We're gonna be doing too many wheelies. It's just gonna slow us down. Also, I got the headlight undone. It's still attached by the bottom adjuster, but I got it out of the way and I was able to get the turn signal unplugged. So we can actually go ahead. Da-da-da-da. There you go, a little present.
Sharp.
That was a choice.
That was sharp.
So now we can put the new one in. Now we are pulling the, what are these? Shocks? Let's not put anything on the bike yet.
Forks. Well, it's not technically on it.
So we're gonna take these out, give these a bit of a wipe down because someone sharded all over them. And then we're gonna put Tusk Performance Parts. Forky, socky booty boys. And that will keep all the dirt and dust and grime out of my fork seals because I came out the other day and there was literally a puddle of fork seal oil in my wheel. I think the problem is the smaller diameter wheels on the SM just kind of fling stuff directly right here as the wheel turns, and it just packs it full of garbage. So this will hopefully reduce that, though it is a bit of a faff to get these in here.
I've never heard that before.
Y'all want to see some bullshit? That's our solution to keeping it from tilting backwards off the lift. Anyway, the forks are off. Let's get them back on before the whole... I mean, it's fallen down in the dirt many times. I mean, realistically, what's going to get hurt if it falls off? We could just put it on the ground.
This would be a meaner fall than anything off it. It's concrete.
A meaner fall?
Yeah.
Minor?
Jiggles!
I like how you got a... Holy shit! I like how you had to get the stream started first before you can aim it, because, like, same. So it's just, I'm gonna get demonetized. That is working a little better. Yeah, there's no way for a second person to help with this. This is all up to one. It's a little sad looking. It's like,
It's all twisted.
Tusk. Tusk.
Okay. Oh, well.
It said uncle. As far as the throttle body goes, I have dislodged it. I undid that screw right there for the clamp so that I could wiggle the throttle body back out. And this is actually the computer-controlled actuator and sensor for the secondary throttle, made by Kahan, apparently. So there was just two 8mm bolts holding this onto the throttle body. I wiggled it out through here, and then that gave me enough room to turn the throttle body so we can get a straight shot at the screw in there. Unfortunately, we're still struggling with exactly what to remove the screw with. I need to go home and take a look at my other JIS bits. I think it's smaller than like a number 2 or whatever it is that I have. But I think for now, that about does it. We got our forks back on, looking resplendent, and we have been cleaning and prepping the plastics for wrap. Also, the tank is off. The tank is just 1 8 here and a 10 here and a 10 here, and then it comes off, and then there is an adorable quick disconnect. And the funny thing is, this quick disconnect was already ready to come off, and that was high pressure fuel. I don't understand how I didn't run into an issue with that. The clip was off of the fuel line.
Where we're going.
So it's the next day. We're back, and I have bad news. I brought my other my other JIS bits, number 1 and number 3. They didn't work. So I also brought reverse drill bits, and it's time to get violent. In the meantime, I also actually remember to bring my new sprocket. There's the old sprocket, there's the new sprocket. Kenneth, overlay them on top of each other so that the people at home can see the size difference. Maybe flip them over. Okay, so technically you did, okay, there we go. So we can see the smaller diameter of the new one. It helps if I actually point the camera at it. This is one of the biggest bang for the buck changes you can make to a motorcycle, because every motorcycle is geared too tall out of the factory, like every single one. I badly need to do this to my Aprilia, but sprockets for the Aprilia are a lot more expensive, so we've got this. So yeah, I guess we shall double team this. You can install the new sprocket, and I shall drill out. I guess I should probably get some gloves on, because we're going to put a dab o' grease just to keep metal shavings from flying absolutely everywhere. The throttle body is currently not hooked up to the motor, so I'm not too terribly worried about it, but you know, I mean, it's just a free engine. It's just a free engine polish at the end of the day. So it's fine. Wow, I hope I have enough adjuster for this. I hope the wheel will actually go back far enough. Anyway.
Thoughts?
This is what the dentist shows you right before you go under. We won. Look at that. I sized that perfectly. The head of it just came straight off. And while we were getting good head, we also kept all of our shavings in one place. So now, haha, extractoroonie. None more. Deleted. And now, since that's all stuck together, I can just get a rag and wipe out the excess grease and whatnot, and hey, that's done. Then I just have to push this back into the boot, reattach and re-plug in the motor that is sitting over there, because without it, this will throw a check engine light. I'd love to just leave it out, but I don't want a check engine light. So that's gonna go back in. Not looking forward to squeezing this guy back in. Fortunately, these clamps are kind of like clocked, so they won't try to spin around in circles while I'm tightening them up, because getting on the front one, you can see it. It's pretty obvious where it is, but man, you're snaking past a lot of stuff. So if this were to like spin around towards the back, you'd be pretty hosed. So I'm gonna put all this back together. Hopefully by the time I'm done with that, Kenneth has finished reinstalling the sprocket. And then I guess we move on to wrapping plastics. I guess we'll put the tank back on. As per the usual, good Lord. As per the usual with motorcycles, getting the boot back on the carburetor and or throttle body is always the worst part. Small flat blade screwdrivers were very helpful. I ended up taking the clamps all the way off and then unbolting them and slipping them back through later. Also taking this PCV hose off also helped a lot. You can see there I got the motor back in place, even though it is just impotently doing nothing right now. I had to get this guy out of the way in order to get to this plug here, and then there's this free floating plug here, and that's how you get that off. And then you can see there is the top screw and there is the bottom screw, and that's how you get that motor off. So put this back, then the tank can go back on. We've got our new sprocket in place. Our chain, it's probably a little tight actually, I don't know. We'll have to see, because these tighten up a lot as the suspension compresses. And then the tail tidy gets here later, and the rest of the vinyl. So I've got to go film an April's Garage episode here in like 15 minutes. Kenneth is struggling with the very concept of space and time. Forgot to mention, we also decided to delete the snorkel. See? No more snorkel. Apparently that gets you a lot more intake noise, and that's about it. And I like intake noise. This right here is Mr. Secondary Throttle Body Actuator. Mr. Secondary Throttle Body Actuator, easy for me to say, is an asshole. Do not remove the secondary throttle body actuator from the throttle body. The throttle position sensor on the secondary throttle body position body sensor is spring loaded. So as soon as you pull it apart, it gets all out of calibration and it is turbo fucked. The only way to fix it is to take the sensor off the body half, off of the throttle body. Rotate, let's see, I think you rotate the piece in the throttle body all the way clockwise, then you take a flathead screwdriver and you rotate the motor all the way clockwise, put it on there, and then the sensor itself is spring-loaded, and so it's already all the way clockwise. Then once you put it all back together, the bike will start and not have a check engine light. Otherwise, you'll have a permanent check engine light. Also, we took off the snorkel. These are pleasing noises. I like them. This is missing, and I don't think it was there when we took the bike apart, so that's fun. New sprocket is on. Amber removed the stick that was jammed in there forever. Let's see, what else? We started wrapping the plastics and realized a few things. First of all, behold my, well, hang on. That's a little better. Behold my color scheme. We're going for 90s windbreaker. However, vinyl wrap is the devil, and I hate it, and it sucks to work with. and it's ass. So we're gonna be painting these. We also don't have enough vinyl because we're not very good at this. The new turn signal is on, which is wonderful. I went to put on the handguards that I bought, and thank you very much, Kawasaki. They welded bar end weights into the damn bars. So I have to spend even more money on new handlebars just to put my effing handguards on. I'm pretty agitated about the whole thing. The new tail tidy is sort of in place. The tail light part is screwed in. The factory tourney signals are on. They attach with a bolt and a nut. So this is actually just like a generic taillight that they include that has bullet connectors on it. And then it just has a standard like 3-pin Honda style connector that they have you cut off the connector that was on here, crimp this on. Here is the wire assignments: black to black and yellow, red to blue and white, green to red. So if we do that, I think that's acceptably bright. Yeah, for an aftermarket, I mean, honestly, for anything, that's pretty damn good. Wow. So I actually posted in the KLX like mods Facebook group, which makes this even funnier because it's literally a group for modifying your KLX. And I posted, hey, I did secondary throttle delete, and now I'm getting a rattling from the secondary throttle actuator and a check engine light. Has anyone experienced this before? And everyone was like, no. And then one guy literally commented like, congratulations, you didn't get any extra horsepower, just some throttle response. And I'm like, well, I'm here for the throttle response, so I guess that's good. Like, I'm not trying to gain horsepower on top of my 25 horsepower bike. I just want my low end response to not be completely nerfed. So
you want your 25 horsepower that you asked for.
Yeah, I want the 25 horsepower in more places on the rev range. Anyway, yeah, now I get to puzzle out how this tail piece goes together. It's kind of cute. It does reuse these rubber bits from the stock unit, which is kind of nice. And I'm pretty pleased with this overall so far. Apparently it is an FE347. Kenneth!
Hi.
Hi. We made a thing. We trailered it down here, we hauled it down here in the truck, so I don't know if it's any good or not, but we have our re-gear, we've got the snorkel delete, we've got all the things that I mentioned before, no more secondary whatever the hell. We gave up halfway through wrapping it because wraps are kind of the worst, especially when it gets to all this complex stuff. And then, like I may or may not have said, I couldn't install my arm guards because reasons. So we're gonna give it a test out. We've also got the Coleman mini bike out here, so Amber's gonna do a bit of off-roading with us, and then we have a tall Ninja 300 and a bigger version of the Coleman mini bike with a smaller engine somehow.
Smaller, really?
Yeah. That's 150, right?
This is 120. It's a 125.
125. Okay, that's 212.
What?
Actually, it's 200. It's a slightly smaller Predator 212, basically.
So we need to figure out a transmission.
And they make
That's what I'm hearing.
it has CVT. More CVT. That is a thing. Realistically, what it really needs is an exhaust, because like if you come look, the exhaust is a box.
Yeah, and it eventually bakes.
It's very restrictive.
Left cheek and leg.
Yeah, it blows right on your left leg. It's
wonderful.
Real good.
What, we were out in the freaking Foothills for 2 hours, and I eventually was like, babe, I gotta stop. My ass is burning.
I bet. Yeah. not the clutch.
No, it's not.
Okay, we are getting there with the KLX, but there's a few more niggling issues that I wanted to take care of. One of them was my ears. So I got a set of these motorcycle-centric earplugs, which I really, really like. They go super deep into your ear and have these tails for you to retrieve them. And unlike normal earplugs, that means they don't get snagged on your helmet when you're putting it on, which is super frustrating. And then I got this Kimimoto knockoff of an RSC shorty clutch lever. And the reason for that is because when you're off-roading or stunting, you kind of want to two-finger the clutch, and that's pretty difficult to do with a full-size clutch lever. And the reason you want to do that is so that you can keep some fingers wrapped around the bars. Wow. Fender doors. Really. So I got the billet two-finger clutch lever. However, it doesn't have a mount for this guy, and I don't really like this anyway. And I definitely don't like only having one. So now there's going to be a whole bunch of shit bolted on my bars, and I don't know if it's all going to fit. I tried, other side. Well, I tried to drill out these like weights in the bars, but they go all the way back here, and so I thought, oh, I just drill it out to here, just tap it to here, and then just use a shorter bolt. But the tap just broke off in there immediately. Probably a crappy tap, but now there's a tap stuck in this, so I just need to get new bars, add more shit to the list, I guess. So this will go here and be quite nice. Looks like it'll be able to snug up a little bit closer to the controls than that one, so that'll gain me quite a bit of space on the bar, and also get the pivot point a little closer. This is kind of neat. It looks like it has two effective ratios, so you can put the NARP in either one of those. So that's kind of nice. You can kind of change the effort depending on your bike. And then we have just some of these adventure style ball mirrors. I like these because there's a lot of ways that they can get knocked out of alignment without breaking, which is good. This feels reasonably well made. Of course, there'll be links, affiliate links in the description to all of this stuff, and then they came with the little bar mount adapters. Those look nice and skinny, so they should fit okay. And what is this? Oh, screw mount adapters for if you have the other gender of screw mount. So that's all cool. So I guess I'll go borrow some tools from the girlfriend. Is I won't have a clutch position switch, so I will have to delete my clutch position switch again. And if I can just, come on, give it. Oh, that's annoying. If I get new bars, they're not going to have the holes for the cable management. Yeah, you just bridge these two. You can jam a wire in there and put some tape over it, but I actually have a box of these. I call these Honda style connectors because my CX500 was entirely made up of this style of connector. But I have a whole bunch of these, so I'm going to make an actual plug and then just zip tie it back along the wiring harness, and it'll be good to go. So I was going back to my shop to get a 10 mil because of course I was, and I looked down and I just so happened to see this. This is, I believe, if my camera would point at it, I think these are the stock bars off my Talaria X3. And if we take a look, they're pretty much the exact same thing, just without the weights at the end, which means I'll be able to install my handguards. So I'm doing my least favorite thing and drilling holes in round objects. Fortunately, I've got a punch which I just kicked off into the bushes on accident. So then, in theory, my hole is not big enough, and I was pointing the camera off into space. Gosh, that takes a big ass drill bit. Sweet heavens. So in the last shot, you saw me installing these handlebars so I can install these handguards. That was 2 months and about 1,500 miles ago. And listen, I have an explanation for all of this. The thing with modifying a beginner bike is that once you pop, you just can't stop. And maybe I should have, but I'm pretty happy with where we're at now. Obviously, I did get the bars installed with the handguards and the clutch lever. The handguards are great. You can blast through woods and not get shrubberies ripping at your gloves all the time. The mirrors, also pretty nice. They're kind of a knockoff ball mount. I forget what the name brand is, but I can fold them away when I'm off-road or take them off really easily, and they're plenty, you know, usable on the street. Of course, there'll be affiliate links to all this stuff on Amazon below. From Cycle Gear, I did get some of these nice gummy Pro Tape or half waffle grips in pink, of course. They are a lot softer than the factory grips, but have the exact same design. I found some 1-inch bar risers in my shop, so I threw those on with some new hardware. Massive, massive improvement. There are 2 things that every motorcycle seems to get wrong from the factory. One of those is the bars are too low. Now that these are on here, I can comfortably, I shall demonstrate, I can very comfortably stand up on the bike. I could not do that before. I didn't have to extend any cables or anything. I don't think I'm even in the shot anymore, which is rare for me to be too tall for something. But every motorcycle has bars that are too low. It seems like every, you know, dirt bike bar equipped motorcycle, be it something like the Tuono or a dirt bike like this or a adventure bike, everyone seems to add bar risers and says that it's an objective improvement. And so far, that's been the case every single time I've done it. So what the heck? The other thing that every motorcycle gets wrong is the gearing. And unfortunately, I've gotten it a bit wrong too. Every somewhat off-road oriented bike has a first gear that is just too tall. It's just way too tall. You're doing 12 miles an hour idling in first gear. And that might be fine for some trail riding, but we took this to some more technical stuff down at the Kaw Lake ORV area in Oklahoma, which is more like rock crawling type things. And the first gear was a absolute nuisance in this bike. So earlier I re-geared with a smaller front sprocket. Now I noticed my gearing was way different than a dirt bike version of this. The dirt bike had a bigger rear sprocket, so I ordered what I thought was the larger rear sprocket, which I believe is a 42 tooth, and I was going to order a 41 tooth. What I actually did was I ordered a 51 tooth and went back to the stock front sprocket, and now my bike is effectively gear limited to 70 miles an hour, which means at 70 miles an hour, this thing is pinging off the rev limiter. So that might have been a mistake. Some people have said that 46 is about right for the rear sprocket. That pizza cutter is very funny though. It lets me do wheelies very easy, which is fun. Obviously the glaring difference is the wheels. We have an actual set of 2119 or 2118 off-road wheels shod in Dunlop D606s. These are a 90-10 tire, which means they are meant 90% for off-roading, 10% for on-roading. You might think that means they are absolute trash on the road, and that is what a lot of people will tell you. However, in my experience, these are fine. I have absolutely no issue with these on the road. I ride this thing on the road most of the time, and these tires do great. They grip just fine. They feel relatively confident. I can go as fast as I feel like going on a dirt bike. Now, unfortunately, the Supermoto is a bit more nimble. I said at the beginning that the Supermoto is a perfect motorcycle, but since I wanted to do a bit more hardcore off-road stuff, I got the off-road wheels. And you'll notice these are silver because these are off of a KLX300 from 2009. I didn't realize that that stuff swapped over, but it turns out it is 90% the exact same bike, just with carburetors. So we swapped those wheels over, and they've been great so far. Moving around to the back, you can see I also swapped in the silver kickstand off of the off-road model, so that my bike isn't leaning precariously with the taller wheels and tires on it. I haven't noticed a whole bunch of changes from having
you know, going from the same diameter front and rear to a big front and a little rear and it tilting the bike back. I do have a wobble at 65 miles an hour, but I've had that wobble basically since I got the bike. Ever since I ditched the stock tires, I've had a wobble at 65, and it has persisted through gearing changes, through suspension changes. I dropped the front forks just a little bit. I had them a little bit too far up, and now they're about quarter inch lower than stock, and also different wheels and tires twice. I've had 2 sets of tires on the old wheels and then this set of wheels and tires here, and it still does this at 65. I don't feel any play in the head bearing preload, but that might be my next place to check because we are at 5,500 miles now. It is worth noting that I retained the Supermoto larger front brake rotor and brake setup with the new wheel. They swap back and forth no problem. There's a add-on bracket, a silver bracket here that moves the brake caliper between the 2 positions so you can run whatever you feel like. As near as I can tell, the back brake is the same between the 2. The whole swap was super easy. We trailered the bike down to Hot Springs, Arkansas and swapped the wheels at 1 in the morning in the dude's garage. It was great. A big quality of life improvement has been this rack back here. It was about $40. It just bolts through the tail. It does make removing the seat a huge pain in the ass because you have these bolts here that have to go through like 6 layers of nonsense. So that's pretty unfortunate. And then on there, I have added a knockoff Rotopax. Now, in earlier videos of me testing this off-road, you will notice the low fuel light was on. That has become a running gag in our group. We call it the KLX light because this thing has garbage fuel range. 120 is about the max you can expect. If I'm off-roading, I get 80 to 90. And now I have no idea what I get because my speedometer is off now that I've swapped front wheels. I'll need to get a speedo healer for that, but those are $100 and I spent all my money on all the rest of this. But the Rotopax is great. There are larger front tanks that you can get, I think 3.2 gallons, which would give you 200, 250 miles of range, but then you're carrying around all that extra bulk all the time. If you fill it all the way up, it's a lot of extra weight, and it's also $400. This was a $40 rack and a $40 Rotopax, and I can fill up my friends' bikes if I need to, or help a stranded motorist, so I much prefer this option. Then on top of that, we have a Kemimoto bag, same company as my clutch lever, interestingly. And I like this little thing because it just makes the utility of the bike so much nicer. I had just a generic like Milwaukee tool bag ratchet strapped on here, but that was really annoying having to undo the straps every time. This just flips open, flips closed, it expands. It's really nice. I mean, it's not really nice, but it's decently nice. I just have it strapped to the rack here, and then I trimmed the tails with a lighter, and it's been all good. We also have a fresh X-ring chain. I kind of let the old chain go. It had some side play when I got the bike, so I just never bothered to maintain it because it was junk right off the bat. So now we have a really nice X-ring chain. Some people say that switching from the stock chain to an aftermarket one actually gives you an extra 1 horsepower to the wheel just by reduction of friction. Sounds kind of like BS, but I don't know. Surprising thing that I did was the muffler. So the bike's real quiet. It sounds like an appliance. However, I didn't want the extreme volume of most aftermarket exhausts. I've heard the Delcovic in person. It's pretty loud. However, it didn't have the spark arrestor in it, and I've heard that with the spark arrestor, it's pretty reasonable. But what I did was a mod that I've seen mentioned where I took the heat shield off of the muffler and cut 3 slots in the side of the muffler. The result is maybe a 10% increase in sound. However, at 5,000 to 6,000 RPM on the highway, unexpectedly, the motor feels much smoother. I don't know why that is, and I haven't noticed any ill side effects from doing this, so I'm gonna say that's a recommended mod. Take your heat shield off, cut some slots in the muffler underneath the heat shield, and then bolt it back on. It doesn't give you a weird puffy noise like you'd think. It actually sounds really indistinguishable from factory, just ever so slightly louder, and it must be lessening back pressure or something because the bike just feels a little happier in the middle of the rev range. I would like to get an aftermarket exhaust and a tune at some point because supposedly once you do all these bolt-ons, muffler, and a more open airbox lid, and a tune, you can get 5 extra horsepower. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's 5 horsepower throughout the entire rev range in a bike that makes 25 from the factory. That brings it in line with stuff like the KTM 390 and Enduro R, which is impressive. I've ridden the 390. It is a very different motorcycle from this. I think I prefer this as a dirt bike because it feels a lot more old school. It feels a lot more basic. There are no rider aids on this thing. It is twist and go. Everyone else is talking about what temperature their engine is at. I simply do not care. My bike tells me if it's on or not. Sometimes it tells me if it's low on fuel. Usually it's low on fuel. Beyond that, it's just me and the bike doing our thing, which is pretty great, though I admit I am a little bit jealous when my friends are telling me about how they have little navigation icons from their phone Bluetooth connected to their bike. So that part is pretty neat, and the Enduro R is like $100 more than one of these. However, this is a trail bike. You give it gas, you change the oil once every presidency, and that's all you need to do. The KTM needs to be tucked into bed every night and sang a lullaby or it'll throw a check engine light. One last thing, I did not realize that the front fender situation is different between the Supermoto and the Enduro. I knew they were different between pre and post facelift, but I didn't realize that the Supermoto has this straight one and it hits the wheel at full compression. So I'll probably need to source an Enduro front fender to help with that, but I don't really care all that much. I do think it's kind of ugly. It looks kind of like a beak, the way it's all flat. That's kind of goofy.
First time on the trails with this setup. This will be interesting. Nothing like doing trails on what is effectively a completely unfamiliar bike, and oh goody. Right off the bat. Hey, you know what? I could not have gotten over that with the old wheels and tires. There are so many spider webs and so much sand. Oh. Well, that was... Yeah, we're not getting through there. Ah, yes. Street tires. Oh. Just popped it right over. That was terrifying. Oh my god, but holy crap, the bike does things now. What I've effectively created here is a slightly modified KLX300 dualsport with stiffer suspension with slightly less stroke, and I'm not entirely sure that's a bad thing, but I also don't think you can go wrong with the Supermoto or the dualsport depending on what you're wanting to do. We put about 100 miles of mixed riding on the bike this day between woods and rural roads and highway, and it was pretty good at all of it aside from the ways that I made it worse with my completely messed up gearing and my lack of maintenance inducing speed wobble at high speeds. And I'm consistently impressed with how enjoyable this bike, a beginner bike that I never would have considered when I was younger for being beneath me, remains to this day. I heartily recommend it. No matter what it is you're doing, the KLX300 will get you there, even if the bridge you come to ends up being closed. Thanks for watching.